Most Rust servers suck. So, I started my own. Stop by the Discord and definitely check out my vanilla 2x server. Tier 1 BPs are default, 2x gather rate, 1.5x sulfur gather rate, and it's a Friday, 3 p.m. Central wipe. So if you have a job or a family or a life, you can still play the server. Anyways, stop by the Discord and let's get into the video. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name's Dust. If you haven't already, please like the video and drop a sub. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Orion, which is a small group base for 3 to 4 players, especially if you play on a 2x server. We'll start off by coming into our airlock, which has 3 shop fronts, a garage door, and an armored door. And immediately after that, we're in our inner peaks, where we have elevated auto turrets. Right above this door, you can see we have 3 large boxes and 2 small boxes as drop chests, as well as a shotgun trap. Coming over to each one of these entrances, we have additional drop chests that are protected by a ladder hatch. And if we look up, we have the ladder hatch that leads into the base and a couple garage doors here to seal off each area of the inner peaks. As we come up, we are in the inner peak shooting floor, and we'll see the way into the rest of the base is actually guarded by this airlock with a garage door and another ladder hatch. Coming over here, we can see that our inner peaks have a lot of different angles, especially around the entryways. You'll notice that they're all attached to the core of the base as opposed to the outside walls, so even if somebody begins rocketing, they'll all stay up. If we come into the next ring, you can see a lot of utility items just sort of around that you can change how you like, as well as 2 additional loot rooms on either side of the base. Coming into the main ring of the core here, we have 2 additional loot rooms as well as 2 places for lockers to go. This auto turret also guards the entire corridor, and we have one downstairs as well. Every time there's a drop down, there's also a shotgun trap there protecting it. Right here we have our roof bunker, and there's a garage door behind it as well, and storage under it. Our main core has 4 loot rooms. As you can see, 2 of them hold something a little bit different though. We have a large battery on one side and our tool cupboard and an extra furnace for storage on the other. we come back out of the core, we can go ahead and use this ladder hatch to go up one more floor. And this is our somewhat open core shooting floor, which also contains roof peaks, as you can see in these ramps, a hemp farm, and multiple bedrooms. You can completely change this configuration however you want and plant whatever utility items you need here. You'll also notice under the ramps we're utilizing the space for additional storage. And on the other side here, I've created a bedroom with a locker in case you need to use it in a top-down raid situation. This actually offers you a really cheeky angle that's difficult to shoot at, but very easy to shoot out of. Each of the bedrooms has a locker and 4 drop boxes for additional storage. You might want to keep things like HV rockets or Incen rockets in here. And we can see all of this closes up with garage doors. Coming out to the outer shooting floor, we have a pretty standard set of peak downs here, as well as vertical embrasures. You can come back in and go up this ladder hatch to get to the roof. We have 2 of these little roof exits that contain a bunch of drop boxes for drop storage, as well as vending machines for drone-only shops. Again, we can see our roof peaks here, as well as these auto turret pods that also serve as an additional shooting floor in case you're on the roof and need some additional coverage. This base takes a lot of what makes big clan bases super fun to play in, and sort of shrinks it down to a manageable size for only a few people on a 2x server. This base is a ton of fun to live out of. It's comfortable, it's roomy, and it's got a lot of nice quality of life features to it. I hope you guys are able to enjoy it just as much as I have. We can start off by creating a standard 3x1 and putting honeycomb on every side of it. I'll be using the final grades of things as well, just so then we can understand what it will be in the future in case you need to upgrade something early. I'll also make this triangle into HQM because this is where the TC goes. It'll also just help us orient ourselves. Now we'll go ahead and enclose the entire 3x1 except for this triangle. This will end up being the chute that we use to get up and down. We'll start off by putting a half wall on the bottom and then 2 full walls above it. This will allow us to place a floor here. For now I'm going to put a twig floor here. This is where our roof bunker will eventually go. And then we can add a triangle floor frame here for a future ladder hatch. If you don't have ladder hatch BP at the time, you can always use just a regular ladder. You can use a jump up, you can use a furnace, you can use a bunch of different things. Now we'll go ahead and honeycomb the inner part of the 3x1. And I'll just go ahead and upgrade the outer walls to HQM since those are the final grade. This section you'll leave empty from honeycomb because this will be one of our 4-box loot rooms. So go ahead and add a half-height floor and then add floor triangles to each spot. I'll go ahead and just throw a ceiling on all of this. This one can be high quality metal because this will be directly above the TC. I like to add this floor frame here in high quality metal because even if somebody raids in through the outside, they'll have to spend another 11 rockets to get into the rest of the loot rooms. The floor tiles will take splash damage from the outside, but not from the inside. And after both of those loot rooms are together, it'll look something like this. Now go ahead and use full walls to enclose the next floor. And put a ceiling on the actual 3x1. To get this third one on, you'll have to put a triangle here. We can finish off honeycombing this top part, and there's actually a little mistake here that I'll correct in a second. These should not be there because these are loot rooms, so it should look like this. After this is done, we'll add half-height triangles all throughout. This will act as another layer of honeycomb if somebody's top-down raiding, and it'll give us shelves to place our boxes for these two loot rooms. I'll seal the top off as well since I'm up here. Then we can get rid of the half-height floor and just go ahead and fill this in with a full-sized one. And we'll repeat the same on this side. After that, we can seal up the top and then add a half-height ceiling here. I'll just seal up the loot rooms now, but you would go ahead and place your boxes in there like normal. This ceiling actually doesn't need to be here, that was my mistake. And then we can go ahead and seal off the rest of this. This will be our little drop down with a shotgun trap and a couple more boxes. You could also put a repair bench or whatever else you want here. Next we'll seal off the top floor, which will eventually be the sort of main living space of the core. And then go ahead and throw an entrance on the opposite side of our chute. We can do some half-height walls here and then put a floor there, so we can go ahead and toss an auto turret there. Honeycomb off these pieces like this. And then throw another wall here, and do the same on the other side. The front sections you can make into full loot rooms on their own, or you can do what I do and put a locker, workbench, furnaces, and all of that up front. So this is what we're left with, and if you do want to do the locker route like I mentioned, or the furnace route, just go ahead and throw these window frames on here, and then use the back sections as the full-size loot rooms. And I'm struggling. There we go. Put your boxes in there and seal them up with window frames. After that point, the top of our core is complete. Next, what we can do is take some wall frames, and just in stone we can throw them into all of these gaps. This is so we can toss doors and then eventually garage doors as we can afford them. Now what we're going to do is start the honeycombing process. So this base is basically 3 layers, the core being the first one, this next layer being the second one, and then the inner peaks being the third. We'll start by placing squares on each one of these spots and then filling in all of the gaps with triangles. This can be in whatever grade you like, stone, metal, doesn't really matter. The next thing we'll do is wall off the entire section and begin honeycombing just like normal. I prefer to use stone for these dividers, just so then you can't splash damage things on the inside of the core if you start knocking down honeycomb. After we've got the first layer completely wrapped up, we will just go ahead and throw another layer on there and do the exact same process over again. Again, we can leave the floor tiles in stone. You can upgrade them to metal if you like on this floor specifically, because they will be susceptible to splash damage if somebody raids through walls and then they end up trying to go through your core. The next thing we'll do is create the entrances into this ring by putting wall frames on each one of these triangles. Then on both ends, we can go ahead and wall them off with stone or metal, it's up to you. And we'll put window frames in here. I'm throwing some garage doors down just so we can kind of see how this looks and see the base start to come together. I'll also throw some windows in here as well. The next step is to put some triangle floor frames here by these two garage doors. You can do it in all four corners if you want, but then you're going to be sacrificing bedroom space in the floor above. After you've done that, go ahead and put the roof on. Then we can toss some ladder hatches in here. I like to have them in this orientation so then it acts like an airlock with the garage door. If both are open, then somebody can't walk through them. Now finally we are on to the third and last layer of the base. So this is where the inner peaks go. Just follow the pattern that I'm doing around the entire base. After that's done, I like to take any of the triangles or squares that will be visible from the outside and make them metal, so if somebody's rocketing, it doesn't immediately take them out. Now that that's done, we can create our airlocks off of these two squares. I'm using all frames here, but you can feel free to use windows in the front if you don't want to use the metal frags to make shop fronts. I would definitely upgrade this to an armored door as soon as possible, so then the door raid cost and the wall raid cost are about the same. Then we'll go ahead and do the same on the other side. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and wall in the entire inner peak area. I'm doing this in sheet metal, but feel free to do it in stone and then upgrade it to metal when you have the resources. Otherwise, you can save up for it and do it all at once so you don't have to spend all the materials twice. Above the airlock, we're going to use half walls and then window frames. Then put these floors here, and this will give us an area to put our drop boxes. build up a half wall and put floor tiles here. This will give you visibility out of the windows, but even if somebody uses the rockets to blow them up, they won't be able to get in. And I'm just mirroring this on the other side. After that, we can build up one more floor. Now we'll go ahead and build the entrances to the actual core. Start off by using half walls in this square, and then if you want to do what I'm doing here, you can create a little Dropbox loot room. After that, use double door frames and half walls to seal up the rest of this area. I'm using garage doors here, but if all you can afford are regular sheet metal doors, then go ahead and use those. Then above us, we can throw a ladder hatch. We'll go ahead and mirror that on the other side of the same entrance. Just copy the exact layout I'm doing here for a really easy shooting floor. Just note that some of these triangles will stick out through the wall, so I would upgrade them to metal just in case they get rocketed and take splash damage. And just like that, we have a set of inner peak downs. We'll seal this up with another set of half walls. Now let's throw a roof on the entire shooting floor. Just fill in all of the gaps like you see. The next thing we can do is honeycomb off the chute here and then make use of this square however you like. I prefer to put an additional loot room here just because it gives you additional drop storage as well as a little bit of diversification of where your loot actually is. So if you do get raided, you're not losing everything. So we'll mirror that on both sides. After that, we can start working on our top shooting floor. And this is actually really easy. We're just going to take triangles and do them in this exact configuration. Make sure you're headed in a clockwise direction when you're doing this and leave the gaps just like I do. After you've got all of those on, we can go ahead and put door frames and windows on them. And just like that, we have a super easy, super functional shooting floor that all we have to do is put our deployables into. And that's how it looks with vertical embrasures and single doors. Now for our open core bedroom, hemp farm, roof peaks, whatever you want to call it, floor. We can go ahead and create the entrances just like this, and we'll end up walling off the entire area. Just pay attention to which walls go where and which windows and door frames and so on. It's perfectly symmetrical besides this door frame, and this door frame is only needed if you want to do the hidden bedroom trick I showed you. Next, we're walling off both the bedrooms and the entrances. And we'll put double door frames on all of these. And it should look like almost this. I forgot a wall here. There we go. It should look just like this. Next thing we'll do is create the hidden additional storage area under the roof ramps. So go ahead and use these ramps, place the boxes here, and then we'll use a series of half walls, floor frames, and low walls to create this shape. Before you put the roof tiles on, make sure you add these walls because you won't be able to do it afterwards. Same goes with placing the lockers in the bedroom. You'll need to do that first. And I'm gonna put these on right now to demonstrate one other tile that you won't be able to place. So if we come into here, you can see we can't place this triangle unless this is gone. So make sure you put these roof triangles on before you do the ramps. And we can upgrade these to metal as well because they won't be honeycombed. After all those steps are done, go ahead and place the ramps. These are usually going to be the last thing that you place, just so then there aren't any conflicts because they do stick through walls. On the other side here, we're going to be making the little bedroom, so we're going to do the same process. Throw up all the walls, all the floor frames, and the low walls. And then go ahead and add the top walls here. I like to sheet metal them just in case you try to take heli from this location, or, you know, just to prevent people from soft side picking into them. Right here we can add a floor frame on either side. We'll put a ladder hatch here, and this will be our roof exit. The way that I'm showing it, it has two, but you can do just one and make the other one a helicopter hangar if you want. Then we'll use half walls to enclose all of this and make these little pods for the turrets that'll watch our open core. For the actual exits themselves, I'm going to be using these window frames and then throwing a ladder hatch into the floor frame we placed earlier. And then I'm putting a door frame here as well because you can do a drone-only shop. This whole top part will be metal, so I'm just going to upgrade it quick. And to place the middle one, we'll need to get the triangles placed on either side, just for stability. We can also throw these low walls on right now. This will complete the peaks and make sure nobody can get into them. Then we'll just mirror this on the other side. Now we are getting super close. One of the last steps here is just putting a roof on the entire shooting floor here. So just follow the shapes below it and go across the entire thing. The way that this base is, there shouldn't be any stability issues, so just go ahead and place them from the middle out. You shouldn't need to add any additional support. All right, this is looking super close. The only two things we have to do are come over here and create our little shooting floor pods. This will hold the auto turrets as well as just give us a few more angles from the roof that are a little bit more protected than poking our head out from the actual roof tiles. I'm putting double doors on these turret pods because we can wire them up to either a heartbeat sensor or a manual switch somewhere in our core. This is super useful because then if somebody tries compound bowing them out, we can just close them or have them closed while we're around and active, and as soon as we leave we can pop them open. We'll mirror this pod on the other side as well and continue using triangle roof tiles all the way around. And just like that, the base is done. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. You guys have been awesome with the support recently. I've been super busy, and like I mentioned before, you know, we got COVID. It wasn't fun. Kind of, you know, kicked my ass for a little bit, but anyways, we're back on it. We're back making videos, and you know, like I said, if you made it this far, drop a comment, let me know, and I really appreciate every one of you. Head over to Discord, join it. We're over 500 members now. We have a vanilla 2x server with tier 1s unlocked and some other cool goodies. Nothing overly modded, it's mostly vanilla, but you know, I really appreciate everybody who watches and takes the time out of their day, and I hope to see a ton of these things in servers because they're so much fun to play in. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.